Check, check, check. All right, let's get this show on the road. Thanks for everybody for being. Has it stopped raining outside, by the way? All right, back in the back. Can you hear me back in the back over here? Yes, can I? Back there looks good. Back there on the right over here. I'm not putting on my glasses. I'm not doing it. Not gonna do it. Great to be here. We're all blessed that we are healthy enough to be here and can afford to be here. And let's enjoy every Monday we have. This is week number what? Is it 6, Rex? 5 or 6? I lose track. Year 15 of the Touchdown Club, and really thankful to have all of you here. Great to have Blake Anderson here. I told Coach, I said, I know the last place he wants to be today is speaking to a Touchdown Club, because I know a coach coming off a loss is so angry and ready to get back to coaching. So we really appreciate having him here today and honoring his commitment. There was never any doubt he wouldn't, but we were hoping he would get the win. And not only any of our FBS, Division I schools rather. Yes, it was one of those kind of days, but there are good things to talk about, and ASU is still in the hunt. We're excited about that. Hogs played well. Gary, would you come up, lead us in a word of prayer, and get us started?
Great to see all of you. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity we have again to gather together and enjoy each other's company. Thank you for the food, and give us strength today to serve you. Thank you for Coach Anderson and the folks from ASU being here. We ask you to protect everybody that's playing this weekend coming up. Keep them safe. Lord, we ask all this in your name. Amen.
Thanks, Gary. We are excited to have Coach Anderson here today. I told him, I said that he may be sandwiched within the greatest 4-week run in the history of the Touchdown Club. You know, last year we had Ditka and Steve Spurrier start us off. Those two pretty good right off the bat. But last week was Too Tall Jones. Today, Coach Anderson. Next week, Larry Zonka, and Earl Campbell after that. You know, no pressure, Coach. Yeah, what an unbelievable lineup. We're excited to hear Coach today, and excited to have Larry Zonka, who's traveling all the way from Seattle to get to, no, I'm sorry, Alaska. Alaska, excuse me. I should know I'm paying the airline ticket. You know what, too, the person who's handling his stuff is that, you know, I wanted to book that ticket, Coach. I want to book it back in, you know, July. She goes, no, we got to wait to figure out what Larry's schedule is. So I don't think she's booked it yet. I think she's like, book it. Can you imagine what that thing's going to be this week from Alaska? Yeah, that's exactly right. He understands. Hey, a couple things. Make sure mute your phone. You can text everybody and say, hey, listen, if you want to hear Coach Anderson, you can go to our Facebook page. You can go to lrtouchdown.com. You can hear Coach Anderson on the buzz, but just make sure and mute it. The other thing I want to remind everybody, I'm so thankful for the embassy. They have opened up the garage now. Years ago, they would not open up the garage for us. It was for their guests, and so next time, if it's raining like today, come on in the parking deck. If you don't want to park, because some folks are parking at Arkansas Urology, some lines. That's how long it is. So garage is open, and make sure and take advantage of that. Thank you to all of our members here. And I know we're feeling a little down and gloomy a little bit. You know, we got the Red Wolves here, and we're a little down, and the Razorbacks, we play a little bit better, but we're down. So you know what we had to start this meeting with? We know it. Listen, I'm in Dallas. It's been a long day. Been up since 5 o'clock at Jerry's World, and come back in my hotel room and turn on the TV, and it's about 10 o'clock. And I'm looking at, first of all, I see this is the college wrap-up. And I look, and I said, that looks like a Division II school. And I hear, 5, 4, 3. I'm like, oh, my gosh, that's Rex Nelson. And so, sure enough, it's Rex on national TV, Coach, ESPN College Countdown. If that wasn't enough, I turned on TV last night, NBC, prime time, and this is what I saw. This is in my bedroom. Here we go. How about that? One and only Rex Nelson goes national. Goes national. The guys on ESPN said, we need to get that Rex Nelson here in the studio. And then last night, now they did say Washita, but we'll forgive him for that. We'll forgive him for that. But how about our man Rex Nelson going national, representing the Touchdown Club and representing Arkansas? I can't wait for a text. It's going to cost you more every year to get me, Bass. That's what I expected to see, but that was great. Love to see that, Rex. And that's why a Sully Award up there. You have won 2 and retired from the deal. You're so good. So, yes, he's retired from that, but congratulations. Do want to thank our sponsors real quick. Twin City Limousine, Greg Hatcher, Popeye, Dale Bennett, thank you so much. CJRW, working on our Cliff Harris stuff. One of the things CJRW did, we've had a problem with somebody, another Cliff Harris name, just to show you something in the background. Cliff Harris that does not represent who Cliff Harris really is. It's a different Cliff Harris, and so we've had trouble getting that off. So CJRW has jumped in and is helping with Google to get that taken off. So those are the kind of things that CJRW can do. So whether it be Mark Raines, Dan Sawyer, Darren Gray, get with those folks. If they can help your business from a PR standpoint, marketing, website, we're really counting on them to help us with Cliff Harris and the NFL Hall of Fame and the Cliff Harris Award. I do want to thank 103.7 The Buzz. Coach jumped on with Justin and Wes. And by the way, The Buzz is going to be at 2 ASU games this year. Next week, Justin and Wes will be at the App State game, and I think Tommy, Roger, RJ, and myself will be at a game in coming weeks. So glad to have The Buzz supporting ASU, and look forward, Coach, to being at your place next week and in the weeks after. Arkansas Urology, Epic Health. Ironically, Tim Langford, one of the great Indians, Red Wolves of all time, here today, and obviously the president of the board. Are you president of the board, Tim, or just on the board? Chairman of the board. You are chairman of the board. What's that? It's Chuck's helper. Chuck, you can just scream at me and say, yes, he's the chairman of the board if you want to. Great to have you here, Tim. 9 Arkansas Urology locations statewide, 4 Epic Healths, 17 physicians, 26 total providers. Get your checkups, folks. There's one right down the street as well, one in North Little Rock, 9 locations around the state. Thank you to Arkansas Urology and Epic Health. War Memorial Stadium. Just got the word. Did you hear? 6:30. We like 6:30 better than 11 o'clock in the morning, yes. Helps with the tailgating, so that's a positive. So let's get those tickets for that game at War Memorial. And please, if you know people that are going, get them to go inside the stadium. Buy the tickets, go inside the stadium. And I think the Razorbacks now, I feel a little bit better about competing against Ole Miss. So I think that's going to be a good game. So get your tickets at War Memorial celebrating 70th anniversary. Farm Bureau of Pulaski County, do want to thank Todd Dennis and Stephen Reichert. My girlfriend Jessica called Todd not long ago. He got her taken care of. Boom, got her insurance on her car. No telling what else. It was easy to work with. So thank you to Farm Bureau. Tell them you were the Touchdown Club, Farm Bureau of Pulaski County, that is. And they'll take real good care of you. Todd and Stephen both will. Dairy Queen, I heard the announcement last week. They're opening their new location in Saline County. They have, it's Shane Broadway says, all right. Yeah, it's very nice. They have been killing it here in Arkansas. We're proud to have some of the best Dairy Queens in America right here at Sherwood, 12th and University, and in Cabot, Saline County on the way. Verizon Arena, I just got this today. Tickets go on sale October 8th for the December 15th game against the Roadrunners. You know who the Roadrunners are? Texas San Antonio, that's exactly right. So October 8th, tickets go on sale. December 15th, make sure and let's fill that place up as well. Also, don't forget you can get tickets for concerts like Fall Out Boy, Lauren Daigle, Thomas Rhett, all those coming up in October. It's going to be a busy month. Our poor friend Michael Marion, is he here today? Yeah, I about to say he ain't showing today. He's not showing today. He's oh yeah, and it wasn't even close against Florida. But I thank you to Verizon Arena. Big Red Stores, excited about. Now, last week I asked you guys, when is the Highway 70 on the way to Hot Springs, the new highway? When are you opening? You opened this past Friday. How about that? Another Big Red Store opened up. Yeah, it's very nice. That's Roger clapping the loudest, the spokesperson over there. So when is the big grand opening? This Friday. Are we going to be there? Is the Buzz going to be there? All right, very good. Roger clapping. Appearance fee for Roger. But thank you to Big Red Stores and you guys. Continue success. Continue opening stores. We appreciate you. Right, LINDSEY and Jennings, who sponsored the Cliff Harris Award, which is right here. And I'm going to tell you, did you see what happened yesterday, Rex, with our Pierre Desir? Our winner 5 years ago had his best game as a pro. Coach, this kid was a D2 kid. He was a Cliff Harris winner. It's been cut by a couple. It was like a fourth-round draft choice. Hung in there, went to practice squads. It's made it back to the Colts. He's starting now, hit an interception yesterday against the Texans. 5 individual tackles was the best part of the Colts. So that's really great for the award, and that's great for and we couldn't do it without Wright, LINDSEY, and Jennings, so we appreciate them being a sponsor. Go to them for all your legal needs. Crane Automotive, Larry Crane, thank you. I know we got some Crane guys here. Make sure and go to those guys and let you know that we'll give you a good deal. We're the Touchdown Club. Cut us a deal. You guys will make it happen. 800 employees right here in Arkansas, 19 dealerships. We appreciate you guys being here, and tell Larry thank you for us. Our man Wally Hall, look at there. There's Wally over there. I'm going to tell you, Wally, I think, has had perfect attendance. How many years now? I don't think you've missed many meetings, have you? One meeting you've missed in how many years? No, I had perfect attendance 1 year. Yeah, okay. Well, you know, I gave you the chance to lie, Wally, and so Blake, you know, right there, whatever you say, it's going to be in print. So great to have Wally here. Amanda Copley, sponsor All Arkansas Preps Player of the Week, which we'll announce here in just a minute. And of course, Simmons Bank, Chris White, and we have our first time we've had Mel Hutchins on stage. And I think what we're going to do for the Simmons folks, Chris is a regular. Anytime we have a new person for Simmons to come up here, we have to sort of have what was the word? Not a hazing, but initiation. So I thought what we're going to do, Mel, is that we're going to put you right here, and Grant Garrett's going to be on the other end and let you go one-on-one against Grant Garrett today. Will that work? But it's great to have all the – no, he's not going to do that. That's right. Great to have Simmons. We couldn't have a better presenting sponsor than Simmons Bank. They are so great, and I know they got a big crowd here today, including some folks from Arkansas State. Let's give a round of applause for all of our great sponsors. Thank you to Brent Bailey and Ron Terry, who set up our room every day, every Monday. It looks great as always. We appreciate them. Matt Johnson, Fidelity Local 6, back in the back, handling all our AV work. Thank you, Matt. You do such a great job. Dwayne Duncan, our photographer, has been doing it for 10 years, I believe. Thank you, Dwayne, for the great work that you do. Also, Hawk Media Solutions, RJ Hawk, thank you for doing our social media. Don't forget, all you folks that you can tweet out, Instagram and all that, at LR Touchdown Club is the Twitter account. LRTouchdown.com is the website. Also, we have Meredith Hell here. Where's Meredith? Meredith Scott. Is she here? She's not here, Rod. She's not here. Yeah, she was supposed to be here. She's going to help us with Instagram. And, Coach, this is a true story about her. She was celebrating. She's an Arkansas State grad. Meredith was celebrating an Arkansas State win. So she jumps from the stands to go onto the field. I forget what win it was. She jumps over and blows out her ACL. Yes, it's just she was on crutches for months. But she was all in. She was all in. So thank you for, what's that? Sacrifice. That's exactly right. Also want to thank our amazing Touchdown Club volunteer team. They're all the names. We couldn't do it without these people who volunteer all the time for free. They'll be wearing their Touchdown Club shirts probably next week. And I did want to mention, of course, Debbie Wyman, our executive director, who does such a great job. And I did want to mention one in particular, a volunteer who had a special birthday yesterday. I won't say how old, but this is her. Coach, this is when mustaches were cool. That was back in the early 80s. I think I've got one other shot just to show you guys. There we go. That's but let's give my mom a big birthday welcome today. My mom, Carolyn Branch, wherever she's at. Where's she at? Where you at, Mom? Oh, she's right there. There she is. Happy birthday to Mom. But all of our volunteers, we couldn't do it without them. They do an amazing job, and thank you so much for being here every week. Coach, we got a great team. That's why we're the best touchdown club in America. We really have a great team. We're going to remind you, you can still order your T-shirts. We'll have them ready. We'll mail some of them to you this week. If you haven't, go online to Debbie and make sure and let her know what size, what you want on there. We'll take care of that. RJ Hawk will be doing the monogramming. He's doing a good job with that. So thank you to our best team in America here at the Touchdown Club. It's time for our All Arkansas Prep Player of the Week. Now, here's the deal on this, y'all. We've had this happen before where we have a potential recruit with a speaker. So Coach Anderson knows this, and I don't know all the rules and regs, but it's okay. It's all okay. But this young man, he's a senior at Conway High School, senior quarterback Giovanni Johnson. 2 weeks ago, and this is an amazing stat, Coach, he only rushed for 18. Now, he's a quarterback. He only rushed for 18 carries, but 18 of those carries resulted in 6 touchdowns. That's a pretty good ratio. That was in a 45-19 victory at Fort Smith Southside. Now, Conway was number 1 in the state before I think they played North Little Rock. They're number 2 in the state. And North Little Rock beat them this weekend. But obviously Conway's always in the mix. He's 6'5", about 195. He can run it. He can throw it. And I asked him about his college choice. He hadn't made up his mind yet. So it's great to have him here. Let's give him a Little Rock Touchdown Club welcome. Giovanni Johnson, everybody. I want to welcome his mom, Markiba Johnson, and we've known Markiba for many years with the Buzz. They're one of our sponsors, and she's been telling me about her child year after year, how good he was. And sure enough, what are the odds of one day being able to honor him at the Touchdown Club? So welcome. Great to have you here. All right, next we have, listen, you know, I think I have to call him Mr. Nelson now. Do I need to do that? Because yeah, I think so. Nobody does it better. He was a national star from Arkansas. Give it up for Mr. Rex Nelson, everybody.
You know, that doesn't free me up at all. I've still got the big clock on me up here, so got to hurry up. You know, Cliff has been out of the league way too long, David. We got a whole new generation of sportscasters. I mean, Tirico blew Ouachita last night. Scott Van Pelt blew it the night before on ESPN, but he got it. Somebody corrected him during the show, and he closes the show by going, Ouachita, Ouachita, Ouachita is how the show closed. But we got to work on those guys. Now, you will notice that I wore my red today in solidarity with Coach Anderson. I'm also wearing it in solidarity with you Hog fans out there. So I'm in red today. And as far as you Henderson fans, no, I ain't going there, Chuck. There's some things even I won't do. So other than that, I'm in solidarity with you, Coach. All 4 Division I teams lose this weekend, so we'll make it quick. Let Coach talk about what happened mostly over at Georgia Southern. It was 28-21, real heartbreaker. Southern scores on a 47-yard touchdown run with 19 seconds remaining in the game. They go to 3-1, 1-0 in conference. The Red Wolves are 3-2, 0-1 in conference, but a long season ahead. Justice Hanson, though, the great quarterback, has tied the school record with 67 career passing TDs. He was 38 of 50 passing for 376 yards. He also added 40 rushing yards for Arkansas State. So a fine performance there. As far as the Hogs, as you know, a 100-yard kickoff return to start the game for Texas A&M. But then Arkansas fights back well before finally falling 24-17. Hogs now 1-4 overall, 0-2 in the conference. Aggies 3-2, 1-1 in the conference. That crowd of 55,383, the smallest in the 8-year history of the renewal of this series in Arlington. 7th, that's hard to stomach, isn't it? 7th consecutive win for an A&M team over an Arkansas team. 4th time in the past 5 years to lose by 7 points to the Aggies. Just seem to be stuck on those 7-point losses. Arkansas has now lost 4 consecutive games in a season for the first time since 2013. Razorbacks had just 55 rushing yards in that game. UCA, just like ASU, a heartbreaker right at the end. They got it into overtime and then fell 34-31 at Sam Houston State. Bears are 2-2 overall, 1-1 in the conference. Sam Houston also 2-2, 1-1. UCA had a 34-yard field goal attempt blocked in overtime. Sam Houston then turned around and won it on a 34-yard field goal. By the way, the Bear quarterback, Braylon Smith, went out late. Hope he's okay for this week with an ankle injury. He was replaced by Kirk Ball, who did a great job down the stretch for the Bears. UAPB 1-4, 55-9 loss at Florida International, which is coached by former Arkansan Butch Davis, former speaker at this club. UAPB took a 3-0 lead in the first quarter, 3-0 UAPB. Then the home team scored 48 consecutive points. It was 38-3 at halftime. Now, on to Division II. You saw the clip. Ouachita goes to 5-0. 24-7 victory over Arkansas Tech in Arkadelphia. On that play, you saw Tech was threatening to make it a one-possession game late when a young man named Keandre Evans out of Junction City, you know how good their program's been through the years, intercepted a pass and took it 104 yards for the touchdown. Ouachita had led 10-0 at the half, so they're 5-0. Tech falls to 2-3. Southern Arkansas also having a great season. They're 5-0. 55-45 at 2-3 Oklahoma Baptist. They've got the best quarterback in the conference, Barrett Renner. He was 26 of 33 passing, 387 yards. SAU led in total offense. They gave up a lot of yards, more than 1,100 yards of offense in this game. 6-11 to 554, but they win at 55-45. Harding, 4-1, 47-21 over the 1-4 Boll Weevils down in Monticello. Harding outgains UAM 406 to 291. Bisons led 24-0 at the end of the first quarter. It was already 40-7 at the half. UAM fumbled the opening kickoff, and it kind of got worse from there for the Weevils. So Harding's 4-1. So you've got SAU, Ouachita, and Harding all nationally ranked. 3 of the top 20 teams in the country, all from Arkansas. And Harding hosts Ouachita this Saturday night in Searcy, what should be a great game. Henderson, a 24-10 winner over Southern Nazarene. Reddies are 2-3. Southern Naz falls to 1-4. Richard Stametti, Henderson's quarterback this year, 16 of 23 passing for the Reddies, 212 yards. Henderson holds the Crimson Storm to just 70 passing yards. Now, on to the SEC. Number 1 Alabama, 5-0, 56-14 over Louisiana and Lafayette. Alabama led 49-0 at the half of that game. So they probably could have scored 100 had they wanted to. A guy named Jalen Waddle waddled for a punt return for a touchdown, also caught 2 touchdown passes. Number 2 Georgia, 5-0, 3-0 in the SEC, 38-12 over Tennessee. Tennessee falls to 2-3, 0-2 in the conference. Tennessee was held to just 209 yards. Georgia used both quarterback Jake Fromm and a backup freshman named Justin Fields, who is getting more and more action with each passing week. Georgia outrushed Tennessee 251-66. Now, you think Arkansas's got problems? Tennessee's trying to dig out the same way. Tennessee has not won a conference game since November of 2016. So that's 11 consecutive conference losses for Tennessee. And it hadn't cost me a minute of sleep. So, Florida beats Mississippi State. Why Michael Marion's not here today to go to 4-1, 2-1 in the conference. Gators 13-6 victory drops the Bulldogs to 3-2 overall, 0-2 in the conference. Auburn goes to 4-1, 24-13 over a stubborn Southern Mississippi team. Jarrett Stidham was 19 of 33 passing, 245 yards and 2 TDs for the Tigers. And speaking of Tigers, the LSU Tigers are now 5-0 overall, 2-0 in conference. They roared out to a 28-6 halftime lead and easily defeated Ole Miss 45-16. And I'm like you, David. I'm starting to think that Ole Miss game is winnable here in Little Rock if you all will fill the stadium a week from Saturday. Rebels fall to 3-2 overall. They are 0-2 in the SEC. LSU had 573 yards of offense. Joe Burrow had his best performance at quarterback since coming to Baton Rouge from Ohio State. He was 18 of 25 passing, 292 yards, and 3 TDs, also rushed for another 96 yards. Kentucky, can you believe this? Break up the Wildcats. They're 5-0 overall, 3-0 in the SEC, 24-10 win in Lexington against South Carolina, which is now 2-2 overall, 1-2 in conference. Benny Snell Jr. rushes for 99 yards. Kentucky ranked for the first time since November of 2007. So it has been 11 years. A tough schedule ahead, but can't take it away from them. They're 5-0 right now. Vanderbilt goes to 3-2. They got a real scare from crosstown rival Tennessee State, where last week's speaker played. They had Too Tall Jones. Commodores only beat Tennessee State 31-27. 2 other Arkansas scores right quick. NCAA Division III, Hendricks falls to 1-4, a 38-31 loss to Sewanee. And in the NAI, line is 2-3 following a 29-16 win over Panhandle State. Now, a lot of good football coming up on Saturday. So you got a lot of choices here. ASU plays on the following Tuesday, and I'll hit that next Monday, Coach. But this Saturday, you've got Alabama at Arkansas, of course. You've got Houston Baptist at UCA, Jackson State at UAPB, Ouachita at Harding in that showdown of top 20 teams, Southern Nazarene at Southern Arkansas, Oklahoma Baptist at Henderson, UAM and Arkansas Tech. You know what that means, David? Fayetteville, Conway, Pine Bluff, Searcy, Arkadelphia, Magnolia, and Russellville. 7 different cities. You have no excuse. Get off your butt. Get off the couch. Get away from the TV. Get out there and see a college football game on Saturday. Thanks, everybody.
That's why Rex is on NBC and ESPN right there. A couple things before we bring up a coach. By the way, this will be the first time, Coach, this is your 5th year here, which sets the record for an ASU coach. It is, by far. By far. Listen, I'm going to tell you, too, Terry Mahajer's going to have to work hard. Because there's going to be some teams come after him. I'm just telling you. One could be North Carolina soon. I'm just saying. But we've never had Jim Rasco has always been gone on the days that you speak. So you're going to get the big time intro instead of me doing it. But I got to recognize a couple people real quick. First of all, Giovanni, stand up just a minute. This is what I just had been given some information. I don't care that you scored 6 touchdowns on 18 carries. I just found out from several people who text me, you have scored a 34 on your ACT. Oh, man, are you kidding? Oh, man. Yeah, look at there. Thank you. I just want to listen. Hey, what's that?
That was our
combined score. Yeah, that's right. And do you know how happy that makes Mama? You were never in the doghouse, Harley, when you have a 34 on your ACT. And I know Coach would agree with that. That is outstanding, and that's probably why you're such an outstanding quarterback. So congratulations, Giovanni, on the 34 ACT. I want to recognize a couple folks here today. First of all, we've got a large group from Jonesboro, Sunstar Insurance. In Jonesboro, our buddy A.B. Metters is the president of Sunstar Insurance in Arkansas and Tennessee. Let's have that group stand. It's a big group back in the back. All of you stand. All of them. It's a big group, the whole table back there. Welcome. They're here to support you, Coach. Thanks, A.B. Congratulations, Sunstar Insurance, for all your success. Glad to have you here today. Also want to mention, let's formally introduce as the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Tim Lankford. Let's welcome him officially. Thanks, Tim. One of the all-time great quarterbacks. Oh, is it really? Birthday today, huh? Like to say how old? How old? 58. Oh, yeah, you're young. Well, great to have you here, Tim, as always. I know you're real busy. You're great going on so many levels. The president of Arkansas State University, Chuck Welch. So let's get up for Chuck, everybody. The executive director of the Red Wolves Foundation, Adam Hawkup. Where's Adam at? Let's welcome Adam, please, real quick. And I know there's another big group, but always, my buddy Jeff Hankins, Shane Broadway, Jerry Scott, where's Jerry? How many years you been doing SID for Arkansas State? 13th year in a row. And who was the trainer that was honored this week? Ron Carroll. I went blank on his name. How many years did he? 500 games or something? 500 games. How many years does that cover? 43 years, Ron Carroll. Give our best to Ron. We appreciate him. Jerry, thank you. And is Philip Butterfield here today? Now, Philip, stand up just a second. Now, and what are you doing now, Philip? Work at Stevens. You're part of this group, but do you remember, Rex? 2008, you were the 6A Player of the Year, and we'd only been, as a club, only been around 4 or 5 years at that time. Come a long way since that time, but great to see what a successful young man. Let's give him a round of applause for turning out to be such a great. It's time to bring up Coach, and like I said, I know some people think I'm all Razorback, but I'm not. I'm going to tell you, I'm all schools in this state. And I was monitoring the phone during the A&M game thinking, come on, ASU, come on. And I knew it was close at the end, come on. And I know when I saw the loss, I thought, oh, man, it's just tough for a coach. This is what you do. This is your life. This is the kids. And it's tough to get up and want to come do this and put a smile on your face. And I knew Coach would be here, and I hated that you lost, Coach. But I reminded him in 2016, I believe. I think you started 0-4. Lost to UCA. A lot of people said, uh-oh. And I think you're 15-6 since that time, maybe in that record. I mean, it's unbelievable what you've done. And there's no doubt in my mind you're going to bounce back. This guy can coach. Unbelievable job with quarterbacks, of course. He let me know, I'm sure that he's going to share this with you. He only had 11 freshmen that played in the game the other day. 11. 15 first-time starters, and I'm sure Jim will mention that. But we're always honored to have you here, Coach. I think you're a class act. ASU's lucky to have you. I can't wait to get up there a couple weeks, splash around in that water feature that you have on each end. You don't say waterfall. You say they get mad at you. Water feature. All right, give it up for Jim Rasco, everybody. Come give him an introduction, Jim.
Okay, our speaker was born in Jonesboro but moved to Hubbard, Texas at an early age. Hubbard's located about 70 miles south of Dallas. According to my issues of Texas football from back in the 1980s, in 1985, as an 11th grader, Blake Anderson led the Hubbard Jaguars to the District 16 AA championship with a record of 10-1-1. Blake was listed as 6 feet 2 inches and 170 pounds and was a 3-year starter at quarterback for the Jaguars. I found a basketball box score of March the 1st, 1986, where Blake Anderson scored 6 points as Hubbard lost a close game to unbeaten Grandview High, Hubbard led at the end of the first quarter by 8 points and still led by 5 at the half, but Grandview came back in the second half to post their 29th consecutive victory. You remember that game, don't you, Coach? Oh, okay. Now let's go to college. Blake first attended Baylor but tore his ACL during practice. After his recovery, he chose to attend Sam Houston State in Huntsville, Texas. He lettered as a wide receiver for the Bearcats in 1990 and 1991. During his senior season at Sam Houston State, his team won the Southland Conference and advanced to the NCAA Division I AA playoffs. In the first round, they led 13-3 in the third quarter, but Middle Tennessee State tied the game with 2:31 to go, and the Bearcats lost 20-19 in overtime. Blake was his team's leading receiver in his final college game. You remember that one, too? Oh, okay. As his playing career ended, his Sam Houston State coaches encouraged Blake to become a football coach. After his graduation in 1992, Blake served 2 years as an assistant at Eastern New Mexico and picked up his master's degree in sports administration in 1994. So now let's fast forward 20 years to December 19, 2013. Arkansas State's athletic director, Terry Mohajer, signs Blake Anderson to a 5-year contract as the new head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves. And by the way, Terry had a $3 million buyout included in the contract to be sure and keep Blake in Jonesboro for quite a few years. In Blake's first season of 2014, the Red Wolves won 7 games and earned a trip to the GoDaddy Bowl in Mobile. In 2015, A-State compiled a perfect league record of 8-0 for an outright Sun Belt Conference championship and a trip to the New Orleans Bowl played in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome against Louisiana Tech. In 2016, the Red Wolves were 7-1 in the Sun Belt, tying for the conference championship and earning an invitation to the Auto Nation Cure Bowl in Orlando. Arkansas State crushed the University of Central Florida, who were the champions of the American Athletic Conference. Final score was A-State 31, UCF 13. Last season, A-State went 6-2 in the Sun Belt, were invited to their 7th consecutive bowl game, and completed their season with 7 wins, running their streak to 7 consecutive seasons with 7 or more victories. Okay, as usual, I've used up all my allotted time, so here's the man you came to hear, the head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves, Blake Anderson.
Thank you very much. Y'all sit down. I'm glad that that was hard to find, wasn't it? I'm glad there was no internet back then. Hopefully no video footage of any of that. So it's good to be here, and I appreciate y'all having me back. Thank you very much. And you mentioned that it was probably the last place I wanted to be today. It wasn't the last. It was definitely on the list of the last. I'll be honest with you. But appreciate y'all having me. It's always good to come back. I walked in the room, and it looked sideways to me. I asked Baz if maybe we'd been turned the other way before. Luckily, I've been here 5 times, so I've probably seen it every which way it's been set up. But I'm not sure I can talk to you guys sideways. I'll do the best I can. If I look a little fuzzy to you, I probably am a little bit. About 2 hours of sleep coming back from Georgia Southern after getting your butt whipped will do that to you. I found myself on the bus coming back. There's no good way to get to Statesboro, Georgia. We've tried it every way possible, and it just doesn't work real well. We had to go last year, and again this year. Schedule just turned out we had to go twice in a row, and we changed it up. But you get finished with the game, and you get everybody loaded up, and you still got an hour drive to get to the plane. And so I started watching tape, and then you fly back, and then you got another hour drive once you get back to Memphis. So somewhere about 1 a.m., I guess, I can hear a bunch of guys snoring behind me, and I'm sitting there, and I got my iPad, and I'm scrolling through trying to figure out how we just lost a game where we had 500 yards of offense, and we won basically every statistical category you can, but still didn't win the scoreboard, and just going through it, and I looked at myself, and my phone's texting, my wife's saying, hey, good luck, hey, keep your head up, I love you. I got all my friends text me, and then on the other side of that, my Twitter handle is going off about how I need to be fired, and I'm the worst coach ever, and you know, why did they even let me get back on the plane? I mean, it's going, I'm getting a text from somebody that cares about me, and I'm getting blown up from all the people on social media. And I'll be honest, I just put my pen down, took my glasses off. I use glasses to read. And I thought, what in the world was I thinking 26 years ago when I decided I wanted to be a football coach? It is at times the most rewarding thing you could ever do. When a kid gets it right, or you win a big game, or you accomplish a goal, Or when, like me, I get to coach next to my son. He's on the sideline with me right now as a student assistant. There's a lot of great things that happen. I mean, and the list goes on and on. But there are times when it is absolutely the most frustrating thing on the planet. And sitting there getting those messages and watching what should have been a win for us and a game to celebrate turn into a loss. It's just one of those times. And so, and on top of that, social media, don't even get me started. You know, when I started 26 years ago, you lose a game or you play bad, you got to wait till the next day to see what the sports reporter wrote about you. Now they hit your phone, you ain't even got off the field good yet, and your phone's blowing up. So it has definitely changed over my career. But it brings me here, and I appreciate you guys having me. I'm going to go on record saying no jokes today. No jokes. My president's sitting right here. He's got legal counsel right next to him. No jokes. I'm gonna do my best to stay away from that. I do want to take a point in time, and I've done this in person. But 2 years ago, I told a joke about me and Baz, and actually it was kind of a Razorbacks joke. It was about how Razorback got in heaven, and they'd never seen one before, and you know, I showed up, and they'd seen a lot of Red Wolves. No big deal. Now, that thing didn't go viral. That thing didn't go viral. Last year, I did. I told a joke at the expense of the Razorbacks. It was meant for the folks in this room. It really was. It was meant for you guys in this room, and I learned a valuable lesson. Nothing stays inside these doors. I can't tell you guys anything that's not going to go somewhere else, so I'm not going to share any of my deepest, darkest secrets because y'all won't keep it quiet. But I will say this, and I mean this sincerely. At no point did I direct that at Brett Bielema last year. He's a close friend, and I did not want to add to his troubles. He had plenty already. I meant it to be a smart aleck to the folks in this room and get a chuckle out of you, and it went viral, and I immediately learned a lesson as a head coach. And so reached out to him and told him I was sorry. Hopefully he forgave me for that. He's still a friend today, and I will just tell you, no jokes today. Ain't doing it again. Not happening. Not happening. So it is what it is. So anyway, it's already been a crazy year for us to this point. I think, honestly, it started back in the summer, truly. It started back in the summer. We started picking a lot of momentum in terms of all the sports writers and all the publications. And it's for something that's really honestly never happened at Arkansas State. Now, I've been there 5 years, but talking to the guys that have been around for a lot of years and that have been a part of the program, it's never happened. We've never been picked to win the league before. We're all of a sudden picked to win the league. We got the best quarterback coming back, and he's playing well as he did the other night. We didn't play well enough as a team to get the W, but he's playing well, and I think that always kind of gives you, kind of a few votes right there when you got one of the best players coming back. But somewhere along the way, Phil Steele started looking at our team on paper and started talking about it and came out and said we were going to be a top 25 team. And that's the first time ever that's ever happened in school history. And we've been playing ball a long time. And so it's flattering, but at the same time, it obviously creates some extremely high expectations. Now, our expectations are to win the league every year. That's just it. Since I got the job, every kid I've ever recruited, you can ask Chuck and the people that I deal with, that's our goal. We're going to win it every year. And then the next step is to be as good as we can be. We want to be the best group of 5 team in the country. And so we look really good on paper. And so a lot of people started spouting off. And I started reading, I said, oh, my goodness, what is going on? I actually talked to Phil Steele. I said, did you really, truly look at my roster? He said, yeah, y'all got some talented guys. You got some guys coming in. I said, did you truly look? Did you realize I only got 72 guys on scholarship? I'm supposed to have 85. He said, well, I don't know all those numbers. I said, did you realize that I got to replace 10 or 11 starters? Yeah, but you got some good guys coming in. I said, I know. I understand that. I said, but I'm going to have to put 12 walk-ons on just to fill my spots. I'm going to have to replace 12 starters, and I got to get all these guys going in the same direction at the same time in the fall. He said, well, if everything's going right and you get it all going, you guys can win every game. I said, you're absolutely right. And so we're going to go to work, and we've been working ever since. Now, all that created some tremendously high expectations. Same ones that we got for ourselves, be the best team in our league, be one of the best teams in the country. And so we went to work. And I got to say this, the team has done a great job. They worked extremely hard. It's one of the hardest working groups I've had. They're pleasant to coach. Man, they come to work every day with note paper and pen, ready to learn. The leaders on the team, the veterans on the team are doing a great job. I think probably one of the first times I've really seen the seniors and juniors on our team really teaching young guys. We got young guys that are hungry to learn. I got a Linebacker did not have a great night the other night. He was a freshman linebacker at Alabama, struggled at times. He calls a defense coordinator on the phone at 5:30 in the morning. Coach, can I come in and watch tape? I can promise that's the first time that's ever happened. So a lot of encouraging signs in terms of the leadership, and the guys want to. But at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is we're probably the most talented football team that we've coached since we've been there. Also maybe the thinnest and in terms of roster, the smallest roster that we got. We can carry 70 to an away game. We only had 68 guys put on the plane the other day. That's all we got. They're playing their hearts out. A lot of times they're playing really well. 11 of those guys, as we mentioned, are freshmen. And, they're still learning, kind of trial by fire. Some of that fire not so good at times, as we saw a couple of freshmen give up points the other night. 15 guys starting their first game. So we're extremely talented, but we're super inexperienced and super thin. So that's, luckily I got red hair. You can't see the gray. It's coming quickly. And it's just coming one day and one problem, one mistake at a time. Like I said, though, they're working hard. And so you're encouraged and excited about the future. I mean, where we can be. We're not near as good as we can be yet. We're working on that. But you love the way the guys do come to battle every day. Now, I'd say there's been some good things that have already happened this year. We've battled non-conference play since I got there. Really, over the course of our career, since becoming a Division I football team, we've really struggled outside of conference. It's been talked about. It's been written about. It's been griped about. Some of those Twitter followers that I got, they've made sure I knew. They know how to find me and send me some messages personally, as they were at 1 in the morning the other night. All right? But it's something we want to do better at as well. We're lucky this off season. We battled it. We talked about it. We made it a point of emphasis again with this group of guys, and I think they rallied around that. And we're able to do a couple things we hadn't done before. Well, number one, we played the number one team in the country. That's been on our schedule for a while. Only time I've ever played the number one team in the country in my career. We've played better than the score indicated, but I will tell you, people ask, that's the best looking football team I've seen wear a pair of cleats in my career as a player and as a coach. They went from being good to being unbelievably good when they went from being conservative to being wide open. And we didn't punt it or kick it to any of those guys where they could return it because we knew they might go the distance. But, our guys, they responded well, played hard. We actually outgained them in the second half, and we really started to come together. I think we rushed for 170 yards against a team that had not given up that many yards in the last 41 games. And so there were some good things that came from it, but mainly we learned a lot about ourselves. We had 2 out-of-conference games we had to win, and one of those being at Tulsa the very following week. We had not won an out-of-conference game on the road in 10 years. It had been talked about a lot, and it was important to get beyond that, and I was really proud of our guys. We went on the road against a good football team at Tulsa with a lot of young guys, as I just mentioned, and we found a way to win. Did it as a team, and we exercised the demon. 10-year streak, curse was over, and it was a good celebration in the locker room. And it just one of those things, you talk to your guys, it's a chance to make history, chance to change, create a legacy, and just start growing up, and they did that. The next one was we need to win a record in out-of-conference play. Hadn't had one of those in 23 years. So it's been since 1995 was the last out-of-conference winning record. Now, those pretty good folks on those schedules, I'll be honest with you. We played a lot of big money games, a lot of Power 5 opponents that on paper were better than us, but we've had opportunities to do it and didn't get it done. So we had to do it at home in a monsoon. UNLV came to town, and it started raining about Friday morning. It was still raining Sunday afternoon when I got back in the office. And got to give the guys credit, man. We found a way to do it. Played really good defense, which we've been doing. And offensively, we found a way to run the ball and hang on to it without turning it over, and we end up winning the game. And we go 3-1 in non-conference play for the first time, like I said, in 23 years. So it has not all been gloom and doom. That leads us into conference play where we've done a phenomenal job. I mean, we've really, 6-2, 7-1, 8-0, all aspirations to go in and run the table this year. But I said this at the beginning of the year, and I meant this in media day. Our league is better than it's ever been. Everybody in our league's recruiting well. They've all committed to staffs that are doing a good job. It's a good recruiting base where we all are in the South. And every game that we played, even the ones we won a year ago, they all went into the fourth quarter, and we had to stretch it out late, and everybody was getting better. And I knew it was going to be a huge challenge. You take a bunch of young guys in on the road to a place like Georgia Southern that's hungry for a big win, that's well coached with a good offense coordinator and Bob DeBest, who's coached a lot of ball games. And at the end of the day, we made too many mistakes to win. We won all the statistics, but the one that mattered. And that's the only one that really counts. And so we find ourselves at a spot where we got to get better, and we can. We have not yet played our best football. We've won 3 games, but we haven't played our best football. We lose a close one, it'll help us grow up. We'll learn from it. And we'll go to bat this week and find a way to get better. And at the end of the day, it's my job to get them better. And it's their job to come in there and go to work. And we're going to both do that. I'm going to do everything I can to get them better. They're going to come to work. I have no doubt about that. And some of these young guys are going to grow up as we go. We're going to get better every day they go out. Hopefully it won't come through a close loss on the last 19 seconds of the game. Hopefully it'll come from maybe a close win where we get the job done, like we did against UNLV in Tulsa. But it's a good group of guys to coach. Our fans and myself, we're all disappointed in the loss. You always are. You put too much time and effort and energy into it. But at the end of the day, we're just not quite where we want to be yet, but we're working hard to get there. There's still a lot of ball to be played. The way our league is set up now, we actually have a championship game. We have an East and West. All we got to do is win our division, find a way to scrap and claw to get into that championship game, and find a way to win 6 out of the last 8. So there's a lot to be thankful for. We got great administration in place. The place looks unbelievable. If you haven't seen the waterfalls, I don't care if Terry says water features. Those are waterfalls in both end zones. It's an amazing environment. We got Appalachian State coming a week from Tuesday night. It's going to be on ESPN2 for the whole world to see. We're going to play lights out. That place is going to be packed. We're going to find a way to get back on track. And like I said, this group, I know they will keep playing, keep fighting. We'll find a way to get in that championship game, find a way to get number 6. So thank y'all for having me. I appreciate you letting me spill my guts to you for a few minutes. Sorry I didn't have a great joke for you this week. And happy birthday, Tim. Thank y'all so much.
A couple things real quick, we'll let Coach go.
I don't know whether these guys got to go to work or not, but
yeah, just for a couple.
Any questions?
First of all, I didn't recognize Dean Lee, and Dee was responsible for hiring Hugh Freeze and Gus Malzahn at Arkansas State. So let's welcome Dean Lee, former AD. 2
pretty good hires, I'd say.
That's right. Make sure and pass on our hello to Terry Mahajer. He's not here today. I'm sure he's working on that water feature somewhere. But Coach, I wondered if you could let our group know about the challenges, the pros and cons. You got Tuesday night against App State, which is they're the East. They're the favorite in the East. Mm-hmm. It's a Tuesday night game. The good and the bad about trying to play a game on a Tuesday night with the national coverage versus just the turnaround time. Fans trying to get there on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think the biggest downside is just fans. Just what does that do to your normal schedule? With kids and work and school and all that, it's obviously a challenge. I mean, and that's really where it stops. I mean, the ability to be the only game on that night is national publicity for our league and for our program, and that's been one of the things that I think has helped us in recruiting over the last few years. We've played really well in those environments. We've had some big wins in those environments. It's gotten our brand into homes that we go into. And I think you got to understand, we've got players from 22 different states and 3 countries on our football team. Our footprint has to be big. Just the population in the state alone demands that. And so that's getting our brand in homes so that when we go in recruiting in Georgia, in Alabama, in Louisiana, in Texas, Oklahoma, I mean, they've seen us. They haven't all been able to come. I think also just the excitement of that kind of environment on a Tuesday night and TV game, I mean, that's great for the city. Really just the downside of that is just the, what does it do to your schedule? How many people will stay up late when they got kids that got to go to school the next morning? I'd love it if they'd bring them and let them maybe sleep in. That'd be a good way to do it if we could.
What about, real quick, too, what about the improvements to the facility? I mean, you guys are now, I'd have to say, that the nicest facilities in the Sun Belt.
Oh, I would think we're definitely right there at it. I haven't seen all of them. I know a couple have done some work, but there's not a nicer facility. And we're not quite done. We look to be moving into the new complex sometime this spring. I mean, the structure's going up as it is. But, from the time I got there, when Chuck and I sat down 5 years ago, the vision that he and Terry and the board had, I mean, everything they've talked about has happened. Everything is happening exactly as expected. I mean, even some more. There's even things they've done in that time that even we didn't discuss. But to expand the stadium into an environment that's one of a kind, the water features in the end zone complex, I mean, whenever that came up, whoever it was the brain, maybe that's all Terry Mahajer, I don't know, but it's an unbelievable once of a kind, one of a kind experience. And then for us, the indoor, the complex that's coming to be able to recruit, do our work, be able to practice in all the kind of weather you get here. I mean, you couldn't ask for more. So we've got the support we need. We just got to keep working at it and keep recruiting, and the program is going to continue to grow.
Johnny?
Yeah, I must confess, I was checking on the score of the game Saturday night while I was at a gospel meeting, so...
It's all right. We'll forgive you for that.
But no, the question I have is, Georgia Southern and App State are your two toughest conference opponents on the schedule, it appears. And both of them joined the league 5 years ago. What do you consider their impact, especially App State almost beating Penn State earlier in the year?
Well, both bring brands of football that, they've got a tradition that goes back years and years. One AA championships bring fan bases that are fanatical about football. And we went there the other night. It's a great environment. I mean, it was rocking. That's what you want college football to be. They're both in good recruiting areas. So, I mean, they're going to be solid. I mentioned this, our league's better than it's ever been. Their ability to be good on that side of the league, that helps it. We want it to be a stout. We want it to be a strong Group of 5 league. We want to be the best Group of 5 league in the country. You got to have good opponents to do that. So everybody's working and everybody's getting better. It makes our job harder because we got to beat them. But that's what we want for the league. It's not just about us. We want the league to be solid, and it's getting there. And those two teams doing a good job of it. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Yeah.
The home team's going to. Anyway, basically what I want to know is what's your preference? Do you prefer having a game at a home stadium for one of the colleges with the best record, or do you prefer the neutral site?
Yeah, I think the home for our league and where we're at and the way our fan bases work, I think a home site is best. Now, it may mean you got to go on the road to win a game if you're not the highest ranked team, and that's one of the big issues. That's the biggest issue of losing Saturday night. Is if it came down to it, if we can win the rest of our games, we could be in a position where that's not at our, we don't control that. But I played in that game as a coordinator at Southern Miss, and we traveled to Houston and won against an undefeated opponent. It's, of all the games I've coached in my career, it was the most electric, most enjoyable atmosphere for a group of guys that I've ever been a part of, and as a coach, and winning that game is one of the highlights of my career. To be able to provide that opportunity for our guys in our league, whoever gets there, I mean, to me, that's unbelievable. I think a neutral site would be tough on fans. I'm not sure that we would have that environment. You look at the SEC and some of these teams, even the ACC struggled. Their neutral site did not go well here in the last couple of years. It's been just not as well attended as a home game, and so we want that game to be awesome for the people in it and for the fans that watch it and for the league. And I think a home environment is really what you got to do.
When you were talking about the numbers, for example, you said you're allowed to take 72 players for a travel squad, but you have 68. I'm curious. See, even in Pee Wee football, I don't like to sit on a bench. I want to get to play, not watch. So how important are these numbers? Because you got 11 starters offense, 11 defense, special teams, and second string. How can it be really that important whether or not you got 60, 70, or 80 players? They're not going to all play.
That's true. That's true. But at the level that we play at the tempo that we play at, and the environment we play at, we're playing a lot more than just 11 guys at each position. All those guys got to play on special teams. It's a little different than, no offense, Pee Wee football. We get a lot more snaps. It's a lot more snaps and a lot more physical than the high school level. It's Division I, highly skilled, really big, really fast athletes running into each other. It's very close to the NFL model, and we have really very close to an NFL roster at this point in terms of numbers. We'll get our numbers up at one point. It's just going to take time. We've already, like I said, raised them from 54 up to 72. That's taken 5 years to do that. NCAA doesn't let you do it overnight. If it would, I'd go sign about 50 guys next year, and we'd catch up real quickly. But we got the restraints that we got. But it's really about being able to fill all three of those spots, have subs at each spot, and be able to stay healthy and fresh and run at the level and the pace that we want to play for a full game. Yes, sir. Yeah, I've had a couple extensions along the way, so and hopefully win enough games to keep doing the same thing moving forward. So, yeah, it was originally 5 years, and then we've done a couple extensions along the way. What you got?
App State.
Yeah, App State's a good football team, and right now they're playing the most solid of anybody in the league. I think on both sides, they're got a lot of veterans. I think Coach Satterfield does a good job. They had basically Penn State beat down to the last minute of the game and let it slip, or they'd be sitting here undefeated and will have beat a top 10 team in the country. So, I mean, it's going to be a huge challenge for us. I think they're kind of built on speed, similar to us. We haven't played each other in a little while because they were on a schedule before. But they got to come to our place, and we got to get better. But it should be a huge battle. It should be a great game.
Yes.
With all the administration and board of directors that are in the room, would this be a real good time that you'd like to express how happy you are at ASU?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, tell them all the time. Tell them all the time how happy I am. Chuck and I talk all the time. Tim and I as well. Terry here's a man. I wouldn't still be there if I wouldn't have had opportunities to leave, and I chose to be there because I want to be there. It's a great place. We got, like I said, we got great people in charge. We had a loss. We didn't lose the program. We had a loss. And so it's just about moving forward, man, and we are. But I'm blessed. It's one of the best jobs in the country. There's a lot of people that don't have the support I get, that don't have the fan base that we have, and definitely don't have the opportunity to win, and we can do all those things. So I appreciate you bringing it up.
I've noticed in a number of games that when a team gets a big lead, the coach still does not put the second-string or third-string quarterback in. Is there a philosophy behind that? Surely they want him to get some play in.
Yeah, you do. You know, we've had an opportunity to do that a couple times this year and played our number 2. I don't know. Sometimes maybe still trying to get some continuity with your ones. There's the only thing I can think of, or don't maybe have enough confidence to believe that the game is truly over. You would hate to put another guy in it and not go well. Try to get reps anytime we can, meaningful reps for your number 2 as often as you can. But it's different for everybody.
I'll have the last question of the day. Coach, we have a young man here who's an outstanding quarterback. I think one thing about you, it doesn't matter where you are, whether as a coordinator, head coach, you're going to have a productive quarterback. I mean, that's your trademark. And I just wonder, what is the key? What are the things that make your quarterback successful that you've been able to see, train, whatever?
I think the guy's ability to process and truly study the game. There's a lot of guys that can run, a lot of guys can throw, got the arm strength. But the thing that really I think separates him is a guy's ability to make decisions and just will and help his team find a way to be successful. And that's not always been the guy with the best arm. It's not always been the guy that's the fastest. It's been a guy dedicated and committed to what he's doing and going out. And sometimes you got to be willing to make a mistake to do that. You got to be willing to fail. And the guys I've had, matter of fact, I had one that won that award, and Austin Davis, who's still playing with the Titans today. He was one of those guys that just was going to find a way to do it. He was going to be accountable, and he made great decisions and always made sure he put the team first.
Well, good luck on Tuesday night. Blake Anderson,
guys.
everybody. Great job, Coach. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Larry Zonka, everybody. Larry Zonka. Thanks for being here.